testimony like Sheldon did, except I got some verses that go with it. It took me, well, I have one verse that I've always had throughout my life, and then I kind of had to spend like an hour looking for 3 more verses. Well, I was born in Burlington, and my mom was Catholic, so I've always had God in my life. But the only thing I've ever hated about my life is that I've always had God in my life. Not that I love God, it's that I've always hated not having that first time where I've actually found God. I've always been told God is there, but I've never had that experience where I know God is there. So I've always been skeptical throughout my life, throughout my childhood. We lived in Burlington, and my mom and dad had a rough marriage. We moved out of Burlington, went to Minneapolis, and bought a house there. And my dad and my mom's relationship got worse and worse. So they got divorced when I was at a young age, and they kind of put on my shoulders that I had to grow up, and I had to be the man of the house. So it was always hard for me because I never had a childhood, pretty much, because I always had to be the one to grow up and show my brother from right to wrong. So I never could make those wrong choices because I always had to be right 100% of the time. So I never really had a childhood. When my parents divorced, it really hurt me, and I had emotional problems, and I became obese. So I was also really shy. So I was picked on 24/7 during school. So when we moved to Minneapolis after my mom couldn't afford the house because she was a single parent, I had emotional problems and everything because my mom didn't know how to handle it. So me and my brother had a rough childhood with my mom. I love my mom to death, but sometimes, she'd just get mad at little things. So it really hurt me and my brother because we'd be like brother, we'd be fighting, but then we'd just get yelled at because, we'd have those little bickerings over toys or something, and it just, she couldn't handle it because she was a single parent, and it hurt her a lot more than it hurt us. So, over school, getting hazed and everything, and then coming home and doing that, I was suicidal a lot. I didn't have any friends till sophomore year of high school, and so I was suicidal, contemplating about killing myself. Didn't know what to do with myself. So sophomore year, it was end of sophomore year. I was really going to go kill myself, and in my mind, I was like, you know what? This is my last day on earth. I'm just going to go set at some random table. Just going to do it. So I sat at a table. It was like in the middle of the commons, and Jake was there. So I sit down, and I'm eating. They're asking who I am, and I tell them who I am. And Jake talked to me, and he's really nice and everything, and so told me about church and everything. But so I went home, and I didn't go kill myself. And it was mainly because of Jake. He talked to me, and I knew I had that one friend. Out of all the years I've had, I now have one friend. So and then I didn't go to church that first Wednesday. I couldn't bring myself to do it. I'd never really gone to church or anything. It's just, I didn't know if God was there, even if he really wanted me. So Jake then pursued me to go to church, and he kind of didn't force me, but I had no choice but to go to church. So I came to church, met all the youth, and then I got into it. And a year after that, I became baptized in this church. And I really became focused in this church, and I love this church. But one of the passages I really like is Matthew 14:26-31. It's when the disciples saw him walking on the lake, they were terrified. It's a ghost, they said, and they cried in fear. But Jesus immediately said to them, "Take courage, it is I. Don't be afraid." "Lord, if it is you," he replied, "tell me if it's come to you on the water." "Come," he said. Then Peter got down from the boat, walked on water, and came towards Jesus. But when he saw the wind, he was afraid and began to sink and cried out, "Lord, save me." Immediately Jesus reached out his hand and caught him. "You have little faith," he said, "why do you doubt?" I really like that passage because it really connects to me to where I have little faith, but Jesus did have someone there to help me. And it was so happened that, the hand that reached out was Jake's hand, and he saved my life and did not let me go kill myself that day. So I really do appreciate that.
Let me find one first. I have to have that one.
Another one that I found yesterday that really connected to me was Hebrews 13:5. Keep your lives free from the love of money and be content with what you have, because God has said, never will I leave you, never will I forsake you. That was something else I thought about when I was looking through the Bible, as He'll never leave you, no matter what you have done in your life. Even no matter what I've done in my life, even though I contemplated killing myself that day and everything, I honestly think that's a sin, because I'm killing one of God's creations, which is myself. That He still loves me even now, and I can come to this church and be forgiven. So that is, and now I finally figured out what God had for me, and that everything that I've done today is what was planned for me. And I'm glad I'm here today.